This will be the box. This is a Badger. Like I said, they make several different versions. So when you open the box, you'll have some paperwork. You will have the ring that actually attaches to the bottom of the sink. Stopper. You get down in here, you'll have a bag of nuts and bolts and the actual garbage disposal itself. So this particular sink, like I said, it's a farmhouse style sink. She's got a different color she's going with for that. So the first thing you need to do to prep for this is figure out if you got a garbage or if your drain for your dishwasher. Some of them will actually tap it into the drain line over here. Most of the time, they see that plastic flexible line right back here. It will actually tie to the garbage disposal. So if that's the case, it hooks up right here. Now this comes from the factory with a stopper in there. See that little piece of plastic? If you have this connection, if you're going to connect the dishwasher to the garbage disposal, you have to pop that out. And all that is just take your straight screwdriver, put it down in there, pop it out, and take that plastic piece out. Alright, once you get that out, make sure you do get that plastic piece out. It's rolling around on the floor. It will make an awful racket when you go to turn it on initially. Alright, next thing I usually do is go ahead and put the drain on. This is what actually connects to the drain. A little bag of goodies is going to have a rubber ring, which goes right here. 2 bolts. So, put this on like a so. It goes just like that. All you're doing is putting your bolts in. Alright, so when you get them on, it should look like that. Just tighten it up. You can only torque it down so much because the metal ends up resting on metal. One thing to note while you got it apart, I have worked on several of these in the past. This whole top housing, it may be metal down here where the motor is, but this whole top housing is plastic. So although you can put some knives and forks down in here and run them around, after a period of time you'll start cracking this housing. So just note that if you start having water leaking, especially when you're running the garbage disposal, it's likely you've got a crack in this top plastic piece, because that's where there's two. Let's see if I can get you visibility to it. Kind of hard to see, but there's 2 little rotating blades down in there. There's one, the other one's over there. And they spin around as the motor spins. So once a knife or something gets in there, it pops it around. Well, it's bouncing up and hitting this. You can take JB Weld and put some on here. If it happens at home, a lot of times there's nothing wrong with the unit itself. It's just leaking. Another issue that can happen is this not getting tight enough for that seal breaking, and water will start leaking down in here to actually pop. It'll ruin the motor, and it's an electrical hazard. So you do have isolation. It is plastic between the motor and the ring that mounts to the sink. So even if this was a stainless steel sink, you still got a little bit of isolation here. But code is that it have a GCFI breaker or a GCFI outlet, and that's what's taped up underneath there. Now most of them are just plug-ins. Years ago they hardwired all these, and you may have a GCFI breaker in your breaker box. Almost all of the new houses I work on now, they're just wiring this directly to the to a GCFI outlet underneath the sink. So there won't be an electrical wire that comes with it. We're going to reuse the old one off the old one. So there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to take it off. Actually, the next thing you need to do is take this ring. So you're using this one. Loosen these bolts up. Take your screwdriver and loosen these up. Just loosen them, I don't know, about halfway down. So unscrew it about halfway. Alright, so the way this works, you'll see there's a, get it held up here. There is a clip. See this little, get it down here. This little metal ring right here. Once you get this loose, that pulls the tension off of this metal ring. See how there's slop there? These 3 bolts just tighten against that ring, which is what pushes it to the sink. So all you need to do is get it loose, then take your screwdriver and pry, and this metal clip will come up. Let me try that. Once you get it popped, it comes off just like that. Set that to the side. Take this off. And go ahead and take your cap out. Don't need that. And take this off. You're going to need all that for the new ring. We're not going to use this. We can use the rubber or the cardboard gasket for the next one. I don't know that you even really need it. So the only thing we're changing out is this ring, because everything she's got is gold. So what you're going to do now is take some plumber's putty, just standard plumber's putty, roll it up just like you do Play-Doh, and run you a ring all the way around this, and then set it down in here. You get done, should look like something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need a good bead of plumber's putty all the way around. So once you got it all the way around, set it down in your sink. You might want to line up the inner in-sink aerator, like so. Then what you're going to do is from underneath, you're going to slide this up on top of it. Along with this, at this point, loosen these screws all the way up. You're going to need all the wiggle room you can get at this point. You don't want to take them all the way out, but it needs to be flat. Because what you're going to do is you're going to slide this up. Now, this is the sink. You're going to slide this up like so. And at the same time, you're going to slide this on. You got to hold all that up and pop this ring around here at the pop this ring around here at the same time, which will keep this metal part from falling off. So I'm going to attempt to show you that. I don't have a stand for this cell phone. This is one of the more challenging parts of this, if you've never done one of these before, is trying to get this whole assembly mounted, and you've got to do it all upside down underneath the sink. So let me see if I can get everything situated underneath there so you can see what I'm doing. It does recommend to use this fiber gasket. I guess it's fiber. It looks like cardboard to me. I usually do. So when you get it underneath there, you'll put this on, then this, then that, then this. And then you got plumber's putty between the sink. And once you start torquing down these 3 bolts, it compresses against that ring and it squeezes the whole thing against the sink. So let's see if we can make that happen and actually record this while I do it. Alright, so this is the view from underneath. Apologize the noise. That on. It's going to be tight because this is a very thick sink. Then this on. Then this. Then your beauty ring. And I'm going to compress this down This is a lot thicker than a standard sink. It's not giving me enough room, so hold on. Alright. Your fiber gasket, flange plate, this mounted like so. I may have to take these all the way out to get enough room to even get that on there. Never had one this tight before. That's what she said. There's usually a lot more wiggle room than what I've got to work with here. This is a lot thicker than a standard steel sink. Interesting. Dang it. Alright, so I did get it in the way it's supposed to be. That was a pain in the butt, but I hate how-to videos that always show it going together perfect and you get spotlessly clean and all that bullshit. So, compression rings in there. I don't know if they make a bigger one of these for a sink like this, but probably do. You gotta go to a plumbing supply house to get it, but this will work. Once you get the ring, as you can see, it's got tabs. See a tab there, tab there. Make sure that ring's good and seated all the way around before you start torquing on these. And you don't need to torque super tight. You just need to get it good and snug. You don't want the garbage disposal locking anything loose. So get your 3 bolts in there. Should look like that when you get done. Then tighten them snug. You don't want them so snug that all of your putty comes out. Don't be He-Man, because this putty is what keeps it from leaking. You notice I've got some there. I'm going to snug it up, but I don't want to push all this out. If I do that, you're going to have a leak. So just get it snug. Clean up your little bit of excess putty. Put it back in your container. Put the lid on it so it doesn't dry out. I'm constantly buying this crap because it goes dry. Alright, so installing the garbage disposal. I have been called back out to a home inspection based on somebody just shoving the wire through this hole and not using one of these clamps. So you need a 3/8 clamp. Take the nut off. You will screw it right into here. You take the plate off. There's just one screw that holds it on. Pull that off. Plate comes off. Put your fingers down there and get your white and your black wire out. Actually, I guess you can shove this in first. Shove your cord in. Pull it back out. Put your wire nut on. Now let's do this the other way. Try to be less of a tard on this. Alright. Shove the cable down in there. Come on, baby, get out of there. Always gotta be a pain in the butt. Helps if I didn't have chunky ass fingers. There we go. Alright. And you want to separate your wires. One. Greenie. Alright, if you didn't know, your middle one's always a ground. If you've got a 2-wire plug-in, the one with the ridges is your white or your common, which matches up. You've got a large and a small plug on your electrical outlet. Your larger one is your common, which is white. Alright, so just basically doing color to color. White to white, black to black. Black being the wire that does not have the ridges on it. And by ridges, I mean, this is hard to tell because this has, it's painted so it's hard to see. There's no ridges on this side of the wire. Over here there are little ripples, which I don't know if you can see or not. The one with the ripples is your common, which is white. So, get me a couple wire nuts. Put your wire nuts on. Have your connections done in there. Make sure you don't have any wire exposed. Take your green wire out. If you're really anal retentive, you can get a fitting to go on the end of this. I'm not that anal retentive. Wrap it around the ground nut like so. And tighten it up. Pull your excess out and tighten the 2 screws right here to clasp down your wire inside your garbage disposal. If you don't have a plug-in on this, you can just hardwire this. You still need to use a wire nut either way. That's just the way this house is rigged up, is with a plug. Now that you got that in, it is wired. Put your little cap back on. Put your screw back in. That's ready to go. Now, a couple things to note underneath here. There is a hex wrench right here. That's what comes with the garbage disposal. So if this gets clogged, that's what this wrench is for. You stick it in the bottom of here and manually turn it, and that'll usually loosen up whatever's clogged inside the guts of the machine. There's also a circuit breaker, this little red button right here. If it gets overloaded for some reason, you can reach down and push this in. Make sure it's not wet. If you feel water when you get ready to grab the bottom of this, don't reset that. Remember I said earlier, there's plastic that separates the metal housing where the motor is from the sink itself. So if you reach down here and feel water dripping out of this, or it's wet in any way, shape, or form, look and make sure you don't have a water leak before you reset this fuse. A lot of times if you put too much in it, run the garbage disposal without running the water at the same time, this will trip. Turn it a little bit and then push that button in and it'll reset. So. Alright, now the last part, actually hooking it up. So we got the wire. Now what you're going to do is there's 3 tabs that we put on that ring on the bottom of the sink. And these 3 notches here go into that. So you're going to push this up underneath the sink and at the same time twist this. And those slots are slanted like this. So you're going to get them started, and then as you tighten this up this way, it's going to suck this up closer to the sink. This is going to be really hard to video. But I'm going to put the video camera down there and see if I can show you what I'm doing. Basically, you need to try to get your hand underneath it and push it up into the collar, and at the same time turn this. Once you get it started, you can take a hammer and kind of knock this. There are stops on these 3 grooves on the ring that we put on earlier. Once you hit that point, that's it. And if you keep smacking it, you'll end up twisting the collar out. Alright, so it's really tight underneath here. And there's almost no room to work. So you can see the grooves are right here, and they are slanted upwards. So we push this up with your hand, and at the same time twist the collar. And make sure you're seated good. And make sure you're also twisting all sides at the same time. And that's not working. Oh, that's because I'm wrong. There we go. There it is. That's it. Now it's in. I'm going to turn this over towards the drain. Now all you have to do is hook your P-trap up, which is what this piece is right here. So I hooked my P-trap up to this black collar that we put on the garbage disposal. So the P-trap will connect to here, and then this flexible line from the dishwasher will hook right here. Plug it in, and that's it. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to go through the P-trap because yours may be different. This one I might have to modify. Actually, let me see if I can go ahead and do it. Let's see. Hook up your P-trap. Sure it's all good and tight. And then hook up your line from your dishwasher. This does need to have a loop in it. Sorry. Your dishwasher line does need to have a loop in it. That axe has a P-trap. And it needs a hose clamp, which I don't have with me, but so you need a loop in your line from your dishwasher. So you'll see I've got it looped up above, which makes kind of its own P-trap. So I'm going to put a hose clamp on that, and that is fully installed. Alright, so my flex line from my garbage disposal, or from my dishwasher, has a loop in it. It is going up and then coming back down and connecting to here. That acts as a P-trap. You got to have some kind of P-trap in this, and usually just looping it up suffices, because you just need an air gap. So I'm going to put a hose clamp on this, plug it in, and that's it. That's a totally installed garbage disposal.